Season 52, War number 5, and we're up against GT40, and this time my team will be Omega Sentinel, Mantis, and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I will be taking Path 9 in Section 1, Path 1 in Section 2, then a Storm Pyramid X, and a Bullseye mini-boss. So quite a bit of a shorter war than usual, with less mini-bosses and all that, but that is just how these things go sometimes. Now, starting off, we have a Photon on the Hazard Shift Incinerate and Poison node along with Power Efficiency, and I will be taking the fight with Mantis. Now, Mantis is essentially built to counter Photon by, well, preventing her from triggering any debuffs of her own with the Tranquilize up, but that also applies to the Hazard Shift debuffs here, so as long as I slow down my combos enough for the Tranquilize passive to reapply itself between my combo hits, I will never have to deal with any debuffs in the fight, except the one you get when you land a heavy attack or start up your special, since while you're charging your heavy, the Tranquilize will fall off. So I have ramped up to 20 charges here without the need to intercept or hit into block. All the ramp up was from failing debuffs, and now just a quick heavy charge for the 10 Furies, 2 hits of the heavy into a special 2, fight is over, full yellow bar, less than 50 seconds. And that is why why Mantis is the perfect option for Photon. Sure, many champions can do the fight as well, but Mantis makes it very easy. And then we have a Wolverine Weapon X here on the Hazard Shift Incinerate and Poison node, along with Insult to Injury and Feat of Indestructible, as well as Power Focus 1. I will be taking the fight with Omega Sentinel, and this fight is a bit tricky. Omega Sentinel doesn't have any protection against the Incinerate debuffs, or, well, not enough protection at least, so I will try to avoid hitting the opponent here during the Incinerate phase, as much as possible at least. And then there is also the bug on Weapon X to worry about. Basically, whenever the Hazard Shift node fails to inflict a debuff on me when I hit the opponent, Weapon X here will gain rage charges from that, which is not supposed to happen, but it is, so now knowing that, I am trying to play around that by managing the stacks a little bit better, or rather keeping an eye on them a little bit better. Game plan is to get to a special 3 for the 6 Incinerate debuffs, and then use the heal block from Omega Sentinel's second medium to shut down the defense tactic as well as the regeneration. Now, I made a big mistake here before entering the fight. I was meant to put on the recoil masteries already, but I forgot, so my damage output is a lot lower than it currently could be. But so far the fight has gone well. I got the heal block up. Well, actually, no I don't. I have the tactic heal block up because I have cycled my debuffs with a heavy attack at some point. I switched back to the heal block here with a heavy attack, and at this point the fight is over. I just gotta let the plasma do its job, wait around for a bit, and that's all there is to it. However, for some reason, I stop being able to play the game, and I get comboed twice, eat a special 1 at the end, and then finish the fight. Now, if the special 1 there at the end had crit, I would have been dead without question, so yeah, I got very lucky to be able to finish out the fight alive there. Not only my masteries, my playstyle, or the way I played the fight was not too great, but somehow still managed to survive it. That's all just luck at the end of the day. Then, next up we have a less than ideal matchup here. Kushala on the Never Back Down node, and I will be taking the fight with Omega Sentinel. Kushala is immune to both Bleed and Incinerate, and she's not a mutant, so I won't have access to plasma debuffs. That essentially means that all my damage comes from basic attacks and or special attacks if I decide to throw any. Essentially, game plan is to just get the heal block up with a second medium here, and then keep it up by ending my combos with light attacks or using heavies to pause it as well. Now, looking back, using these heavies here is unnecessary. Just parry, 4 light attacks, and that's all you really gotta do. It is not that fast, but it is fairly safe to do. Every time you trigger a buff, Kushala will gain power from her abilities, but having the defender heal blocked here will reduce their ability power rate with the attack tactic, so the power gain isn't too massive. It's still annoying to deal with, but it's manageable, I should say. Now, this fight, I'm not taking too many risks by trying to dex or punish her specials. I'm just landing parries for my openings and dealing with it that way, slowly but surely taking her down. And since I do have the recoil masteries on now, the damage isn't horrible, but yeah, it's still not fast. Now another thing, I am taking a bunch of damage here from the recoil, but that's unavoidable, but also not really a problem. Technically I could have done the fight without using any specials, but it would take even longer, and the longer a fight goes on, the more room you have for mistakes, so I prefer to just get in and get out as fast as possible, provided the matchup allows me to do that. Sometimes going slow is the better way to go. And then we have a Sauron on the buffet over time and arc overload nodes, and I will be taking this fight with Omega Sentinel as well. The heal block is there to shut down the defense tactic, as well as the arc overload regeneration, and then Omega Sentinel is also immune to nullify, so the buffet over time node will never trigger in this fight. All that's left is just Sauron's basic kit, well, minus the regeneration I guess, and that's about it. The unblockable is the most threatening part, to be honest, since if I do fail a special dex here while the unblockable isn't active, Omega Sentinel's autoblock will just save me regardless. So yeah, that's basically the only thing you gotta watch out for. The tactic power gain did trigger there at the end, and it does make fights a bit more annoying, but with the heal block you will shut down the ability power rate for the most part, so it's not too big of a problem usually. Then we have a Storm Pyramid X here on the Power Snack and 1 too many hits mini-boss node, and I will be taking the fight with Omega Sentinel. This war is very heavy on Omega Sentinel, and for a good reason. Most of these matchups have been pretty good for her. But for this fight, once again, Omega Sentinel is immune to nullify, so the Power Snack node will never be a problem. Then easy access to heal block to shut down the defense tactic, as well as her immunity to ability accuracy reductions against mutant opponents. That allows her to completely bypass the glancing with her abilities. Her damage output still does suffer from it, but that's not the biggest problem. I can just save up to a special 3 for the 6 plasma debuffs, then use those for damage, keep them paused by ending combos with light attacks or using heavy attacks, and that's essentially all there is to it. I'm doing my best here to not push this Storm Pyramid X to her special 2, since I am not comfortable fully dexing it. I would not even attempt it, and if it happens to be unblockable, that's a quick ticket to having to revive your champ and heal them back up, and I would like to avoid that if possible. Dying into a fight like this, not really on the cards. I don't think that should ever happen, but I don't know, mistakes do happen. Not this time though. I got the fight down, didn't even end up going with special 3s, special 2s were more than enough. And then we have the final fight of the war, a Bullseye on the Conflictor and Combat Deja Vu Prowess mini-boss node, and I will be taking the fight with Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I went ahead and removed the recoil masteries because she doesn't have immunities to either one of the damaging debuffs, and also having them on is unnecessary. Sure, it would make the fight faster, but speed is not really a problem in this specific matchup. Essentially, since Negasonic here does not inflict any debuffs with her kit at least, it means the Conflictor node will never be a problem, and on top of that, well, she was built to counter Bullseye perfectly. So essentially my plan here is to only push into his special 2s, which I can fully dex, then bait those specials and, well, hit the opponent until they die. That's about it. As long as I don't accidentally eat a special directly, I should be okay. And, well, pushing him to special 3 would also be a problem. I mismanaged his special here, or power bar here a little bit, and I had to save myself there from the special 1 by throwing a striker. Had he thrown it, I would take a ton of damage, especially if he still had any prowesses left, but disaster avoided. I got the fight back in track, and all that is left is just keep the incinerates paused with basic attacks, or rather light attacks, and the special ones to refresh. Once again I managed his power bar the wrong way, and I had to bait a heavy attack for an opening instead of baiting a special 1, and it did end up costing me some health, but as it was the final fight of the war, it doesn't really matter. As for the results, we did end up losing the war 1-9. Yeah, no chances there for us, and it is what it is. We were up against GT40 after all.